So I was explaining you what are the offerings that we have in the Fusion application team, particularly in our HCM cloud application, and why we have to enable that offerings in the system. Like what are all the modules that are coming under which particular offering, and why we have to enable the offerings in the system. By enabling the offerings, what access we are getting in the system. That all we have seen, team. And after after enabling the offerings in the system, I have also introduced to you the different search areas available in the system, like from where we can find out the configurational tasks in the system, like different setup tasks, how to access in the system, different search areas like setup and maintenance search area, or universal search area, global search area, that we have discussed in team. And also some basic cosmetic level features, something like enabling the help icons in the application. Then if it is a star market field, what will be the impact in the system? That all we have seen, team. So now today, we are going to start with a concept in our core HR module called organization structure in the Fusion application team. So we are going to start our core HR module team. You go for any implementation in the real time. Whenever a client is going to have their implementation in the system, the very first fundamental module that we are going to start with will be core HR or global HR team. This is the basic fundamental module in any implementation that you are going to work for. Okay. A part of this or not a part of this, after core HR, you can take up like absence management, payroll, goals, performance, compensation. These all modules comes later. But the very first module we are going to work or we are going to start implement in the client's application will be the core HR module team. So what we have to discuss in the core HR module, as I told you, in core HR module team, the entire employee management will be handled in this module. One second, team. Entire employee management will be handled in the core HR module team. Like here, we are going to define team, all our clients, organizations in the system, like what are the different companies that our client is having. Then within that, what are the different types of jobs, positions, grades, locations that our client is using. And we will hire the employee in the core HR module, and we will maintain that employee in the system in the core HR team. So to start with core HR module, we should be knowing about the important concept in the core HR module team before we start configuring any setup in the system. So today's session will be pure theoretical session, team. Like we have to talk about organization structure or the enterprise structure that we have in our Oracle Fusion HCM cloud applications team. So before starting core HR, we have to discuss about that concept, team, because in core HR, we are going to configure our client's organization structure or the enterprise structure team. Like we have enterprise, divisions, legal entities, business units, departments. These are the things which we are going to configure in core HR. So before starting any configuration in the system, let me explain you one such important concept that we are having in the core HR module team. So what we have, team, we have to talk about a concept called organization structure. Okay, we will call it as organization structure, or you can call it as enterprise structure. Anything you can call it, team. We have a concept in the Fusion application called organization structure or the enterprise structure in the Fusion application team. So what is this organization structure or enterprise structure? What we have in this particular structure, team? Let me list out them. think there is some issue with my Excel. Let me just just 1 second, team. Just give me a second time. Okay. So we have something called organization structure or the enterprise structure in the Fusion application team. So we have to talk about this concept. What is the org structure or the enterprise structure we are having in the Fusion application team? So in Fusion application, we have something like team. Okay, we have something like team, enterprise. Let me list out what are the organizations that we have in the system. Like when we're talking about the organization structure, we have to talk about what is the org structure. So in Fusion application team, at the top, we have something called enterprise in the system. At the top, we have something called enterprise in the system. Under enterprise team, we will have something called divisions, right? Under divisions, we will have something called legal entities. Let me list out all of them and then I will explain you what is what team. Okay, we have enterprise at the top and followed by divisions. Then under divisions, we have legal entities. Under legal entities team, we have something called business units. Okay, and under business units team, we have something called departments. Okay, so these are the organizations that we have in the Fusion application team. Okay, we have enterprise at the top, then we have divisions followed by, then we have legal entities. Okay, then we have business units, and then we have something called team, departments in the system. So this is what the org structure or the enterprise structure that we are having in the Fusion application team. What we have team? We have enterprise at the top, followed by divisions. Under divisions, we have legal entities. Under legal entities, we have business units. Under business units team, we have something called departments in the system. Now let us understand team. What is what? What is meant by enterprise? How many enterprises we can create in the system? Then what are divisions? What are legal entities, business units or departments? So let's suppose team, we got a project from Tata Group. Let's take example as Tata team. Let's suppose we are working in some software company, might be Deloitte, Wipro, Accenture, TCS, anything. Let's say you got the project from a client called Tata. Now Tata purchased this license from Oracle for using in their in-house HR business operations team. Now Tata Group given the project to us in order to configure the application according to their business requirement. Right. Now we are going to start with the core HR implementation first team. So in core HR, the configurations we are going to configure will be team, these all things. We have to configure the client's organizations in the system, like what is their enterprise, how many divisions they have, how many companies they have across the globe, what are the different operational units, what are the different departments. All these clients' organizations we have to configure in the system. But before team configuring anything, you have to understand what is meant by enterprise in the Fusion application, what is meant by divisions or legal entity, business units and departments. Now coming to the enterprise team, the client is what we are telling, Tata is our client. We are going to implement the product for Tata Group now. Now what is an enterprise team in the Fusion application? Enterprise you can consider as a top level assumed entity in your client's organization team. What is an enterprise? Top level assumed entity at the top level in your client organization team, or you can call it as ultimate mother holding group of your client. What is an enterprise team? How you will identify the enterprise in the Fusion application to configure team? An ultimate mother holding group of your client organization. For example, team, I will go to Google and I will try to search with Tata Group. Okay, I'm searching with Tata Group. So let me go to Wikipedia, let's say. Okay, now see team, in Tata, there is something called a Tata Group. What is this Tata Group team? Is it a company? No. Tata Group is not a company. It is a mother holding group of that organization team. Under Tata Group, Tata is having many companies operating in different countries. Let's say if you can name it team, there are about 29 companies that Tata is having currently. See, there are 29 publicly listed Tata Group companies are there, like TCS, Tata Consumer Products, Tata Motors, then Tata Power, Tata Steel, Voltas, Titan Company, Tata Chemicals, Communications. These all are the companies of the Tata Group. But at the top, above all these actual companies of the Tata team, there is something called Tata Group. What is this Tata Group team? See, that is the mother holding group. That is the ultimate holding group of your client team. When you are going for a project implementation, in your client organization also team, you have to identify what is the ultimate mother holding group of your client organization team. In an example of Tata, if you take team, if I have to map exactly the enterprise concept in the Fusion application team, this Tata Group, you can call it as enterprise in the Fusion system. Tata Group is not a company. What it is? It is a ultimate mother holding group of your client. Under the Tata Group, there are multiple companies which Tata operating in the market. So that is called as enterprise in the Fusion application team. So example, if we take as a Tata, this Tata Group, you can consider it as an enterprise in the Fusion application team. So what is an enterprise? Hope everyone should understood team. The top level assumed entity in your client's organization. That is not the actual company of your client, but that is the mother group or the ultimate holding group of your client organization. So every company which is operating team, they will have their holding group at the top. This company is operating under which family, under which particular group, like that. So that is called as enterprise in the Fusion application team. Okay. Then under enterprise, we will have a concept called divisions in the Fusion applications team. What are divisions? How can I identify how many divisions that my client is having team? How many divisions that my client is having team? See, divisions can be categorized based upon the business that our client is operating into, the business wise bifurcation or industry wise bifurcation that our client is into, or team region or the location wise. Let's suppose team Tata Group, okay, is operating in the market scheme across the globe. They have the organization. So they are into diversified businesses. Like Tata is into automobile industry, they're into IT industry, they're into chemical industry, they're into FMCG, food, like something like food and beverages or F&B or FMCG industry. They're into aviation industry, like team, they're into different industries. So you can categorize or identify the client's divisions based upon the industry specific team, something like Tata Auto Division, automobile division, let's say. Okay. Then Tata. Okay. What did I say? Tata Finance Division. They are into financial services also. Okay. Then something like you can consider it as a Tata IT division. Then Tata FMCG division. Okay. Then Tata Aviation division. Okay. So you can categorize the divisions based on the industry specific in which are all the business industries that our client is operating team. You can categorize the divisions based upon that. Okay, like Tata Automobile Division, Tata Finance Division, Tata IT Division, Tata FMCG Division, Tata Aviation Division, like that. Or team, you can categorize the divisions based upon the region or the location specific. Like your client operating across different regions across the globe. Let's say you want to maintain the division something like this team, like Tata Asia Division. Okay. Then something like Tata US Division. Then something like Tata Europe Division. Okay. Tata Europe Division. Then Tata Middle East Division, ME. Then let's say Tata Australia Division. So divisions can be categorized based on industry specific or the business functionality specific that your client is into, or the region or the location wise specific team. So under the enterprise, okay, that is the ultimate mother holding group of your client. Under that team, how you are diversifying your business. Okay, my client is operating across the globe in 20 countries. My client having the business, how they want to bifurcate their business operations team. So after the enterprise or under the enterprise team, we have something called divisions in the Fusion system. How your client diversifying their business for their operational purpose based upon the industry or the business functionality specific, they have bifurcated their business, or based upon the region or the location wise, they have bifurcated their business team, like Asia division, US division, Europe division. So all the Asia continent related operations can be under this Asia division. Then all the US related companies and their operations will be under US division. Then Europe, Middle East, Australia. Either you can identify the divisions based on industry or the business functionality specific, or you can identify the divisions based upon the region or the location wise team. So let us go as of now, region wise team. Okay. So something like I'm going with Tata Asia, Tata Europe, okay, Middle East and Australia. Let me go with this team. Okay, right. So this is my enterprise at the top. Under my enterprise, these are the divisions that my client having in their business team. Now, under divisions, we will be having something called legal entities in the Fusion application. What do you mean by legal entities team? Legal entity, if you ask me simply team, the actual registered companies of your client. What is a legal entity in the Fusion application team? Legal entity is nothing but the actual registered company of your client, which is conducting the business in the market, is called as legal entity. But if Oracle standard definition, if you ask me, legal entity is nothing but an entity which is legally registered in that respective country as per the government rules. what is the definition of legal entity team? A company which is, or a entity which is legally registered in that respective country as per the government rules and regulations is called as legal entity. Because team, why the name Oracle given as legal entity? Entity means a company, basically. The meaning of entity is nothing but a company. But why it is legal entity or legal company? The name legal, why Oracle giving team? Because whenever any company registering in the country, let's suppose team, you want to start some business. You want to register your company with the government. So when you are registering with the government, certain legal implications have to be coming up team. Like certain legal information will be associated to your company. Like when you register your company, government will allocate ROC number, registration number. Then government will allocate some TIN number, tax identification number. Then GST, okay. Then PAN number. Like that, several legal compliances a company will be following team. That is why the name legal entity Oracle is giving team. Legal entities are nothing but the actual registered companies of your client, which are operating in the market, are called as legal entities. But in Fusion terminology team, we should not call it as a company. Going forward, when you are working in the project also, you have to call that as a legal entity, nothing but the actual companies of our client. Now, if you take an example of our Tata Group team, how many companies that our Tata Group having? These are the legal entities team. If this is the enterprise, these are the legal entities like TCS, Tata Consumer Products, Tata Motors Private Limited, Tata Power Limited, Tata Steels, Voltas, okay, Tata Chemicals or Tata Capital, Chroma, Tata Starbucks. These all are the actual registered companies of our client who is operating in the market. These are the actual registered companies of our client which are operating in the market. So these companies we will call in the Fusion application as legal entity. Right, team? Now let me list out some of them here, team. For our training purpose, I'm writing some test information here, team. In real time, we have to identify our client's organization team, like what is our client enterprise, what are the divisions they have, then under each division, what are the companies they are having in the market. We have to configure accordingly. That we will see in the next coming sessions, team. Now let me keep it here. Let's say my client Tata, under Asia division team, they are having the companies like, let's say, Tata Automobiles Private Limited. They have the companies or the legal entities like Tata Automobiles Private Limited, then TCS India Private Limited, okay. Then let's say team Tata Communications, okay, Limited. Then let's say team Tata Aviation Private Limited. Let's assume team as of now under Asia division, nothing but in India, you can consider something like that. Under Asia division team, these are the companies that our client Tata Group is having. Let's assume as of now, for our training purpose, I'm limiting to 4. But regularly, if you go with Tata, they have many companies in India, they are operating team. But example, consider this thing. So these are the legal entities that our client operating under Asia division. Next, if you come to US division, in US team, my client is having the companies like TCS USA Private Limited, okay, USA Private Limited, then Tata Motors, okay, Private Limited, then Tata FMCG Private Limited. Let's assume team, these are the legal entities that our client is having in US division. Then in Europe division team, let's say, they have the legal entities like Tata Steels Private Limited, then Tata Power, okay, Private Limited, let's suppose two companies, they are operating in Europe division. Then if you come to Middle East, they have something like team Tata Voltas, okay, Private Limited, and let's say Tata Capitals Private Limited team. Then if you go to Australia division, they have something like Tata Projects. Then they have something like Tata Starbucks. Okay, Starbucks Private Limited. Let's assume as of now, I'm just maintaining the information like this team. So this is the enterprise that our client having team. Under the enterprise of Tata Group team, these are the divisions that our client operating in the globe. And under each division, these are the legal entities that our client is having team. In Asia division, they're having these 4 legal entities. In US division, they have these 3 legal entities. Then Europe, these 2. Then Middle East, these 2 divisions. Then Australia, these are the 2 legal entities we have. So like this team, across the divisions, we have these many legal entities operating team. So we have to configure them in the system as a legal entity. What is a legal entity? I'm telling team, the actual registered companies of our client, which are operating in the market, are called as legal entity. And see team, if I go to any company team, let's say I will go with some Tata Power. Okay, Tata Power. So I will go with something called Zubacor, which will give some basic information about the organization team. So if I go to Tata Power team, when a company is registered team, let's suppose Tata Power is one of the clients company. When it is registered team, every company will be allocated with SIN number, corporate identification number, then registration number, ROC. Okay. And not only that one SIN, see, this is the registration number and this is the SIN number. Okay. And not only that, for every company, there will be other legal related associations also will be their team, like income tax number, GST number, or PAN number, or if employees has to be hired and maintained in this organization, they should be registered with PF registrations. They should be registered with professional tax registration. So if you want to run a company team, as per the government rules and regulations, there are certain legal associations every company will be undergoing team. That is why Oracle given the name as legal entity. The company or the entity which is legally registered as per the government rules in that respective country to conduct the business is called as legal entity team. So at the top, we have enterprise. Under enterprise team, we have divisions in the system. Then under divisions team, we have the legal entities in the system team. So these are the companies team, right? Now, under legal entities in the Fusion application team, we have something called business units in the system. What do you mean by business unit team? You can call it as a business unit or you can consider it as a operational unit team. Means team, for example, I will take Tata Automobiles. This is one of the company of my client. Okay. Tata Automobiles Private Limited is one of my client's legal entity team. Now, you take any company, if you are working in any organization currently also team, if you see their organization structure, okay, under that company, for their ease of doing the business, in order to conduct the operations more flexibly or conveniently, organizations or companies will bifurcate it into sub units team. The Tata Automobiles Private Limited is there, which is in India. My client is having this company in India. In India also team, India is a very big country, vast country. They can't conduct the business as a company level team. They have to bifurcate their operations. They have to, let me keep everyone in mute team so that we can discuss. Okay. So as a company, if you have to operate as a whole, it's not be that easy thing. Because in Tata Automobiles, my client might be having 5,000 employees working in India. So as a company whole, if you operate, that doesn't looks good or doesn't have much complexity to understand team. So it's not that easy to maintain basically. So what usually every organization will have team under that particular company for their business operations point of view, in order to have their business operations conducted more conveniently, they will bifurcate into different business units team or operational units team. So you can identify business unit based upon the business functionality specific in which that company is operating, or again the location or region specific team. How we identifying the divisions, business units also you can categorize or identify based on the business functionality wise or based on region or location wise. Let's say team, coming to the example of Tata Automobiles Private Limited, my client further bifurcated their operations into two wings. One is Tata North BU, North Business Unit, and Tata South BU. So these are the two bifurcations, or these are the two operational units that our client having under Tata Automobiles Private Limited. Means what team? Tata Automobiles is a company which our client is having in India. Then further under that company team, client is having two business units, operational units based upon the location. All the North operations he categorized into North business unit. All the South operations he categorized into South BU. Means team, people who are working in southern part of India like Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, all these people will be coming under South BU. People who are working in this company in Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, all these regions in the northern parts, they will be part of North BU. So for the ease of doing the business, further under the company, client can have their business operations bifurcated into multiple business units team. So for example, if you consider based upon the region or location wise, for Tata Automobiles Private Limited team, let's say my client is telling these are the two business units I have, North BU and South BU. At the same time, business units you can categorize based upon business functionality wise. Let's say coming to TCS India Private Limited team. So my client is telling Kumar, in TCS, I have the business units like TCS Consulting BU. Okay. Then TCS Sales and Marketing BU. Okay. Then TCS something like a support BU. Okay. Or annual maintenance TCS AMS BU, etc. like that. So see team, either based on the region wise or location wise, or based upon the business functionality wise team, consulting, sales and marketing BU, or TCS AMS annual maintenance support BU, like that I can bifurcate team. So in Fusion application team, under legal entities, under each legal entity, we will be seeing the concept called business unit. The further bifurcation of the business in order to conduct the business in the country, what are the operational units that our client having team? So for each legal entity, we will be having the business units in the system. For example, team, I will tell you one more thing. In the entire organization structure, business units are utmost mandatory concept team, or utmost mandatory in the system. In the entire organization structure, business units are utmost mandatory. Means team, at least one business unit under each legal entity to be mandatorily created in the system. On top of that, my client can maintain multiple BUs under each legal entity, depending upon the size of the company they have floated team. How many business units they want as per their business operations wise, they can define it. But at least one BU is mandatory team, because this is the concept which is utmost mandatory in the Fusion application team. Under each legal entity, we will have the concept of business units. And for each legal entity in the system, at least one BU is mandatory. My client is telling team, Kumar, in our Tata Motors Private Limited in US, that is not a big organization. We have only some 1200 or 1500 employees. I don't have any business unit or operational units. As a whole company, I'm operating. All 1500 employees are working in Tata Motors Private Limited. That's all. I have no bifurcation in my company. I have not segregated my company for operations wise into different operational units or business units. But even then, in Fusion application team, at least one BU for the legal entity is mandatory to be created team. If your client is not having any business units under your legal entity in the current operating scenario, even then you have to define a BU. Create the same legal entity after configuring in the system, okay, as a business unit team, private limited BU. With the same name, you have to create at the BU team, because at least one BU under each legal entity is mandatory in the system. Now, like that team, under each of the legal entities across the countries, whatever our client have, we have to define their business units, whatever they are having in the organization team. So usually in the current scenarios, if you see whatever the company's operating team, for their operational perspective, to make their operations more easy to conduct team, under the company, further the business will be classified into operational units that we will call as business units in the system team. TCS is a company which is operating in India. Under TCS, again, that company is bifurcated into different operational units or business units like consulting BU. All people who are working in the consulting area will be part of consulting business unit, or all the people who are part of sales and marketing related jobs, their working team, they're part of this business unit. Like that, under each legal entity in the Fusion application team, we will have the concept of business units in the system. Why, Kumar, you are telling business units are utmost mandatory, and for each legal entity, one business unit is mandatory to create team? How we have the concept of organization or enterprise structure team? There is one more concept which we have to discuss in our coming sessions called workforce structure. So these are the two types of structures that we have in our Fusion application team: organization or the enterprise structure. Then we have something called a workforce structures team. Something like 5 objects you have here: job, locations, grades, departments, and positions. So these 5 together, we will call it as workforce structure team. So whatever the workforce structures that we configure in the system, we will be mapping them to the business units in the Fusion application team. That is why the concept of BUs are mandatory in the system. Like all the workforce structures, like job designations, what we're configuring in the system, locations, grades, department, and positions. What are these? I will tell you in our coming sessions team. But why I'm using the statement business unit is utmost mandatory in the Fusion application means in Fusion application, all the workforce structures like jobs, locations, grades, department, and positions, whatever we configure, we will be mapping them to business units team. That is the reason why they are mandatory in the system. What are these? How to configure? how to map them to the business units, that all you will be coming in the future sessions, and you will be understanding about that concepts team. Just to have that statement, what to say, to make that to be understandable, I'm explaining you why it is mandatory team. That's okay, fine. Now we have enterprise at the top. What is enterprise? We understood. Under enterprise, I told you, we have divisions in the system. Then under divisions, we have legal entities, I'm telling team. Then under legal entities, we have something called business units in the system team. So for each legal entity, when you go for an implementation team, whatever the companies that your client is having, when you defining them, under each legal entity, whatever the respective business units, we have to configure them in the system accordingly team. And under business unit in the Fusion application team, we have something called departments in the system. This is the lowest or the niche level in the org or enterprise structure in the Fusion application team. At the top, we will have enterprise, and at the bottom, we will have departments. Department means what team? The lowest level of bifurcation in the client business team. Even in your current companies, if any one of you working team, you will be working in different departments: sales department, marketing department, IT department, admin department, purchasing department, expense department, finance department, payroll department, what not. Based upon the different business activities team, the lowest level of business bifurcation that your client have in the organizations will be departments, right team? Now under TCS India Private Limited, I have two business units team. Now under Tata Automobiles Private Limited, I have two business units team. Now under Tata North BU, let's say I have the departments like team Tata Sales Department, then Tata Purchasing Department, okay, then Tata HR Department, then Tata Manufacturing Department, okay, what not. You can list out whatever that client having team. Then let's say team under Tata South BU, my client is having Tata Finance Department, okay, then Tata Marketing Department, etc. Okay. Now under each BU team, I have my business units. See, under Tata Auto North BU, I have these departments. Then under Tata South BU, I have these departments. Like that team, across all the BUs in the system for the legal entities, under each BU, you have to define all their respective departments team. See, under North BU, these departments I have. Under South BU, these departments. Similarly, if you go to TCS, under TCS Consulting BU, whatever the departments you have. Under Sales and Marketing BU, whatever the departments you have. Under AMS BU, whatever the departments you have. Then similarly, if you come here team, in Tata Motors Private Limited in US legal entity, I have a business unit called Tata Motors BU. Then I have the departments here like Tata Sales Department here also. Then Tata Purchasing Department. Okay. Then Tata HR Department. Then Tata Manufacturing Department. Then Tata Payroll Department. Then Tata Expense Department, etc. Whatnot. Whatever that your client have, that all under the BU we have to configure in the system team. So I'm trying to introduce to you team, what is the org structure? What comes under what in the Fusion application? I'm trying to introduce to you team. So this is what the organization or the enterprise structure that we have in the Fusion system team. A very important concept. Without understanding this, you won't understand the core HR. Why? Because in the entire core HR module team, we are going to configure these things only. First, we will define org structure of our client, like what is their enterprise, how many divisions they have, Under each division, how many companies they have, that is legal entity. Under each legal entity, how many business units they have. Under each BU, how many departments they have. Once the org structure, all the organizations we configure in the system team. Next, we will configure the workforce structures in them. Like what are the different types of jobs, locations, grades, department, and position. See team. If you go to core HR sheet, the setup tasks, what we have, that only we are going to configure. See, this is configuring the enterprise. Then see locations, then divisions, then legal entities, then business units, then departments, then see grades, jobs, locations, positions, whatnot. So in the entire core HR module team, we are going to configure our clients' organizations in the system and the work structures in the system. Once these things we configure team, we can able to hire the employees in the system in this particular data. Because when we hiring the employee in the system, it will ask us in which company you are hiring the employee. Then in this legal entity, in which business unit you are hiring the employee. In this business unit, in which department you are hiring the employee. In this department, what job you are hiring the employee, in which location, in which grade, in which position, like that team. So this is about the org or the enterprise structure team. When you go for an interviews team, a very star market question, it might be an experienced interview of 5 years to 7 years or whatever it is, or a fresher interview also team. Any sort of interview that you are attending, in the core HR module, what is organization structure? Can you explain the enterprise or the organization structure in the Fusion system? The question is very much evident and very important thing. Without this question, there will be no interview in the core HR module. So make sure what is the concept of organization structure team. So in Fusion application, we have enterprise at the top, then followed by enterprise, we have divisions in the system. Under divisions, we have legal entities. Under legal entities, we have business units, and under business units team, we have departments. Coming to the concept of divisions team. In Fusion application, the concept of divisions is optional, not mandatory team. In the real time also, when you go in for an implementation, in many of the projects, you will be skipping this concept team basically. After defining the enterprise in the system, directly you can go to legal entities and you can configure all your client legal entities in the system. Divisions concept, if you want to define, if your client is telling, yes, under the group, my business is classified into different divisions, then okay, fair enough, configure it. If not team, if you don't configure this also, no issue. After the enterprise, you can directly go to legal entities and you can configure them team. In the Fusion application team, the concept of divisions is there just for information purpose in the system team, in order to maintain the hierarchy in the Fusion application, in the reporting area, in the backend, when you're drawing the reports. And also in one of the concept team, like within the organization, we have something called organization trees. When you're defining the hierarchy team within them, which is coming under which, there we are going to use it. But from the employee perspective, like when we hiring the employee in the system, nowhere divisions will be used team. So you can consider this concept as an optional concept in the system. In many implementations where you are going to be working in future, divisions might not be created team. After enterprise, directly you can move to legal entities and you can define them in the system. That is one thing just I want to make sure here team. Now one more concept. At any point of time, I'm repeating again team, at any point of time in Oracle Fusion application, we can define only one enterprise in the system. We don't have the scope to define multiple enterprises in the Fusion application team. What is that? At any point of time, in the Fusion application, you can define only one enterprise in the system. Means team, this is the application, right? So in the application, at any point of time, you can configure only one enterprise in the system. Under the enterprise, you can define multiple divisions. Under each division, you can define multiple legal entities. Under each legal entity, you can define multiple BU, or under each BU, multiple departments you can create. But enterprise will be only one. That is the ultimate mother holding group of our client team. Make sure this point team. You cannot create, because in the interviews, interviewer will wantedly ask you, tell me how to define multiple enterprises. They know that you cannot define it. But the question to ask, to understand your subject in the application team, tell me the process of creating multiple enterprises. Tell that we don't have multiple enterprises concept in the system. We have only one enterprise which we can define in the system. Under that enterprise, you can define multiple other organizations team. Okay, that is one thing I want you to be clear on this. And then team, whenever we hiring the employee in the system, basically in order to perform the hiring in the system, we will be going here as a HR. Once HR log into the system, they will go to my client group and they will go to new person and they will perform the hiring transaction team from hire an employee. So when you hiring an employee in the system, first it will ask team in which legal entity we are hiring the employee. Next it will ask in which business unit you are hiring the employee. Next it will ask in which department you are hiring the employee. Let's say I'm hiring an employee in TCS India Private Limited. Okay. Then next in that, in which BU you are hiring the employee in TCS Consulting BU. In that BU, in which department you are hiring the employee, let's say in TCS Finance Department, let's say EMT. So when you hiring the employee team, these information system will ask us. So we have to hire the employee in all these data, because why we are configuring all our client organizations team, when we hiring the employee in the system, okay, in the system, all these we have to be using team, in which legal entity we are hiring, and that under that legal entity, in which business unit we are hiring the employee, and in that BU, in which department we are hiring the employee, like that. So this is our point of configuration when we go for an implementation project team to define all our clients' organization. Now, the question might be coming to many of you. Kumar, you explained us what is what in the system. Enterprise means what, divisions means what, legal entity, business unit, department.